Hey, welcome to Hempin Happiness. I am your host, Dee Dee Taylor, and I'm with
Beth Panati. Yeah, I don't know what's happening right now.
I know, right? We were just waiting, so it's like getting back into the groove of things.
Yes.
And we're pretty excited, y'all. We have Kathy Sanders with us from Port Royal Plants. And we just started carrying one of her amazing products. It is her tick and bug spray. And we will get into our own testimony about it. But Kathy, introduce yourself. Tell us how you got in this business. Tell us all about you and speak as loud as you can so everybody can hear you.
Okay, good afternoon. And wow, it's been a struggle getting me on board, but here I am. And first and foremost, let me do a huge shout out to Dee Dee. It's such an honor to be here on your podcast, but I don't know if a lot of the viewers really recognize the truly amazing work that you're doing. And I don't say this lightheartedly. I mean, we're in an industry that's, first off, it's a male run industry, and you know that, and women are maybe 1 or 2%. And since day one, Dee Dee has not only been on board, but advocating for people's health all across the Commonwealth and the U.S. because we're in a battle. This is a serious battle we're in. And you may not recognize it, but we see a lot of things that go on that we don't often talk about. But Dee Dee, in her commitment to making sure that consumers get the best product with the best ingredients is something that you really need to understand for anybody listening. Because I'll tell you a quick story, and Dee Dee, I've told you this before, back in 2000. So we've been licensed under the Kentucky Department of Ag. We've been a licensed hemp grower since 2019. And so we, oh Jesus, guys, you're gonna have to cut some of this.
I know.
I lost my train of thought. Okay.
We do that too.
We were approached because we had a CBD caramel, and so we were approached by a company up in Wisconsin, and they were like, "Hey, can you make us some D8 caramels?" And I was like, "Wow, what is D8?" Because this is when D8 first came out. And so they sent us like this little hard rock thing. And I was like, okay, well, let's see. And so we made a batch and we took it to the lab. I mean, because obviously we wanted to make sure we were in compliance, and we do not do anything that's not. And I really didn't even know a whole lot about the D8. And so we took it to a lab in Lexington, and they were like, okay, Kathy, and they ran it, and they were like, there are farmers that are making this stuff in their barns. You know, there's such, in 2019, the hemp industry, there were 26,000 acres grown just here in Kentucky. There was biomass everywhere in every barn. And so people were trying to get rid of it across the country. It wasn't just Kentucky. There were barn loads everywhere. And so the lab was like, Kathy, we're seeing this new product being made. And he was like, there's 8 to 10% that we don't even know what's in this. Okay. And he was like, we would never recommend that you, sell this product. And we were like, we're not on board. Okay. And so why am I telling you this? Because that seems to be a standard even now, where, you go to a gas station or a BP and you're buying a D8. Where's that coming from? Because it's made with a citric acid or some type of acid.
Lewis acid.
And depending upon how long it sits on that biomass is what type of product that you get. And I hear stories all the time about people that are having psychosis, and they're having some long-term effects simply because they've gotten product that's not good product. And so why am I saying this? Because Dee Dee Taylor with 502 Hemp and 812 Hemp, they know what they're doing. And everything that they make is processed right here in Kentucky. It's in a lab here in Kentucky. They know where their product comes from. And so Dee didn't know I was going to say this. But the reality of it is, we all know that the benefits of the cannabinoids. I'm an RN. I've been with a master's in community health. And so you might ask, like, how did you get into hemp? Well, in 2012, 2013, I was a manager of a program at the Kentucky Department of Public Health. And at that same time, we started seeing and hearing about House Bill 1, which was passed. And so people were having a hard time getting their medications. And so many of them turned to heroin back then.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Uh-huh. Well, yeah, because they're sharing needles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Oh, we were just talking about this before you got on here with us. That's so, yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, that'd
We
be
would
cool.
love that.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, we were literally just talking about it.
Because a customer told you
just
were
today,
doing,
that I was doing God's work, and he is in recovery for heroin use, and he said, "You are doing God's work, and thank you," and that made me tear up. So there is definitely something there, and for people that think this is still anecdotal evidence, it's just
right.
They're being lied to, because there is research. There are things available. I mean, we were just talking about too, the rate for addiction has gone down in Kentucky.
The prescription,
Right?
the overdose,
opioid
rate going down.
And I am sure there's a correlation with our products. Do you know what I mean? Like throughout the state, and having the hemp products here in Kentucky to help with the addiction side. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What?
Wow. Uh-huh. Selling it. Mm-hmm.
So the thing to get them off the drugs they're now
and then you're addicted to some,
right. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe it. Well,
No. Right.
agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
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 Exactly.
So you started growing, and then.
And this is a family affair, is that correct? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't patent a plant.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Right.
It's
Right.
all about the money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know.
And
It's
that's why too that the FDA really hasn't been involved and only approved Epidiolex because of that. Epidiolex has synthetic stuff in it, but that's approved.
Right.
Yeah, so
natural stuff they
the
won't
natural
approve.
stuff they won't approve. So tell us how you formulated this amazing bug spray that we are honored to have in our store because we love it. You gave me some, what was it, last year? I think you gave me some to try and I freaking loved it. And then finally we got some in our store because I'm like, Beth, we really need to have that in our store.
Yeah, we totally saw a need for it. I was covering myself with off and cutter just to sit on my back deck where there's mosquitoes everywhere.
Can't stand
so
off.
I got to try it out Sunday night and, I was wearing my t-shirt, shorts, covered myself head to toe. Not one mosquito bite, and that has never happened. I mean, even with the cutter and the off and the other bad repellents, and they'll find that one spot you did not
cover.
That the oil on, and so they were headed towards my face, so I didn't feel scared about putting it on my face, got it on my face. It was just the most enjoyable, knowing I wasn't going to get attacked and then have to use the balm to put on the mosquito bite. So I didn't have to worry about that.
See, that's even better. And I was at an event and I just put on my ankles. Mm-hmm. And then it was so hot and muggy out on Sunday that you could see the mosquitoes like flying over to the side, but they didn't bother me. And let me just tell you, mosquitoes love me
too.
Love me, love me, love me. I must have something in my blood. They freaking love me. So I love your stuff. So I keep some in my bag when I'm out at events. I keep some in my purse.
Yeah.
So, but tell us about it because
it's amazing.
Our customers, we know we love it, but we want everyone else to use it and love it too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Because they're stinky. Some of them terpenes are stinky. It's where you get that skunk smell and all that stuff.
That's right.
Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Eat meat. Oh, chiggers. Oh.
No.
Yep. Yeah.
I know.
I can see that. Yep. Don't tell everybody what that one is. That's your proprietary. Yeah, you keep that
strain.
Yeah, you keep that strain to
that's
yourself. Because a lot of posers.
Right.
Right. And most people don't know that. Yeah.
I know. I know. I love that.
Heck
I
yeah.
know. That's wonderful. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Good. Right.
Yeah.
Right. They
Which makes sense.
Right.
I believe it.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
no. Oh, Davanasta.
It's still recording. Maybe she can come back.
She can come back on. on. Oh, there we go. We
There you
got you
are.
back. So sorry you disappeared.
You disappeared for a minute there. What were you saying?
Okay. Well, where did you last hear me?
We were talking about the study and the not being diagnosed for several
Yeah.
years after.
About 7 years delayed response in individuals.
What are the symptoms of alpha gal?
Well, they vary. And that's
Okay.
some of the challenges as well, but a lot of GI, okay, a lot of gastro, like infections, or like I just made a delivery of some of our bug spray, another order 2 days ago to Mammoth Cave. And when I walked in, they were like, oh my golly, one of our workers was just diagnosed last week with alpha gal. And they were like, she's having gallbladder surgery. And I said, it may not be her gallbladder, guys. I mean, it could be the alpha gal, because that's like some of the symptoms that you would see. And it's a delayed diagnosis because it's 2 to 6 hours after exposure. So you may have eaten 6 hours ago, but you're just now having a response. My son will have reactions to wool socks, to even laundry detergents, and there are medications. The thing about it is, it depends on the severity of your reaction. I mean, there are medications that are made with animal products that people need to, be aware of as well. Certain immunizations, and there are all kinds of stuff that you would need to be aware. Yes. So it's really interesting. But we need to create awareness. But the best thing to do is just protect your family. When you're going out in the creek, ball fields, or walking through the fields.
Events.
Yeah.
Out on
Everywhere,
grass.
your backyard. I like that the bottles are small, because you can buy multiple and have them, and so everybody can have their own.
Yes.
Don't have to share one big.
I keep one. Like I said, I keep one in my purse. Then I keep one in my events bag that I carry with me everywhere. And Beth's like, "You got your bug spray?" I'm like, "Do I?" It should still be in my bag.
Yeah.
So now we got plenty in the store if we need it, but
Shoot.
we love it. So I'm glad that we could offer that to our customers, and
support our local farmers.
Exactly. That's huge
Woohoo,
too, of course, because we're all about that.
I
You know it.
I know.
And I love it. I love the fact that you're an RN and you know all about cannabinoids, and because Beth she's a former RN,
I'm a former RN.
Converted cannabis consultant,
Good.
so I feel blessed. Of course, when I ever have issues, I'm like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this?
We have to diagnose everything, don't we?
Yes.
Of course.
But I mean, so few people understand how the endocannabinoid system works, and so that's the main thing, is getting it out there, because people are, we want to get rid of that stigma of using cannabis for all different reasons.
Well, and it's such a diverse plant. I mean,
know,
you can use it topically.
Exactly.
You can use it internally. You can use it as a bug spray to keep pests off of you. You can, biofuel. I want to see that in my lifetime. Like, that is my big thing. I would love it if we were using hemp as biofuel.
Right.
Instead of being dependent on some of these other things. And my gosh, it just makes sense to me.
Yeah.
We're polluting our environment. We're killing the earth with all of the plastics and fake stuff and truly synthetic products. When we have this amazing plant that cleans our soil, gives us quality air we can breathe, and yet they're fighting us every darn step of the way, whether it's from products based or the farming side. And there's so many reasons that is happening, and I will attribute almost all of it to money, to the almighty dollar. And those companies have been around, and they pay for the lobbyists, and they pay to block it this way and that way, and all of that. And to me, it is just a shame how much of a stigma this plant has gotten for so many years, when it can be so helpful. And for our legislators to impose restrictions on products and the plant and what they've been doing lately, it is just a shame, because this should be a bipartisan It shouldn't be like a political thing.
No.
All parties should be for this plant. I mean, they really should.
Yeah, healthier people. Nobody wants that,
right? That's probably the problem.
Yeah, it is. They don't.
That's where we all have to advocate together, because if we don't, they'll take it away.
Yeah,
because it is helpful, and I think that they worry about us being healthy.
Yeah.
Because then they don't make as much money.
So, and I've told you this story, Dee Dee, before, and if you want to cut it, that's fine. But like, I was in a senator's office.
Oh no, we can share this. Go ahead and share.
So I was in his office.
He's a former.
Yes.
He's a former anyway.
And so I was in his office, and he didn't know I was there. And this cute little secretary, she was like, they were talking back and forth between offices, and she was like, "What'd you do this last weekend?" He was like, "Oh, we had a great event at the farm. Who would have ever thought that our apple farm would be doing so well? And, we had 3,000 people there, and it's done so well over the weekend." He was like, "But we need to get our alcohol license." Okay. And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I walk into they were like, "Okay, Kathy's here." And so I walk in, and I'm sitting there talking to him. He was like, "I will never support this. I will never support cannabis." And actually, I don't know if he came from Mars or not, but he actually said this to me. And so I actually, as he was leaving, and he probably wanted to get rid of me, I walked down the hallway with him to his next office. He's a short man. I'm a tall woman, so I was like standing over him. But he was like, "I don't know anybody that deals with drug issues." He was like, "I don't know anybody that's ever been on." And I said, "You don't have in your family, you don't have anyone that's ever dealt with an addiction issue?" Because I had talked about how that this plant could help take the edge off and could help people in recovery. He said, "I don't know anybody." And I thought, "Where are you from?" Right. And I was like, "Let me ask you something." I said, "You said earlier to your receptionist that, that you wanted a alcohol license for your farm for people to be able to actually enjoy alcohol." And I said, "Let me ask you," I was like, don't you understand the dangers of alcohol versus cannabis?" I was like, people get serious addiction to alcohol. And you're talking about cirrhosis of the liver. You're talking about people that are being killed from drunk drivers leaving your farm. Okay. How much alcohol are you going to serve? And that destroys far more lives than cannabis use and this hemp, CBD and these products. And so he really didn't want to talk to me, but alcohol is big money.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Pharmaceutical is big money. And this plant, which has so many different endocannabinoids in it, right? That are very beneficial to our health. And they don't want us to use them because they know the benefits, and they know we could get people could get off some of these other medications.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you don't need any of that stuff if you got cannabis. So.
We always stress you should try our products first, not last. Yes. People usually come to us as a last resort on whatever it is that they're dealing with.
Right.
And we're always like, come to us first.
Right.
I was at a meeting this morning, and I knew her, and she ended up having breast cancer, and she was telling her story as an Inspire series with the Chamber St. Matthews, and she was telling her story about cancer. And the crazy thing is I'd met her prior to this. I was actually on her show. And I know she didn't remember till I had to, jog her memory, God love her, but she'd gone through hell, chemo and all this stuff. And at the end of the talk, when I got to talk to her, I said, "Do you remember me?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Let's get you on my products, please." And I almost started crying because I was just like, I know I can help you. Yes. You do not have to suffer alone. Yes. And she was talking about all the side effects from the medications and the chemo and the radiation. I'm like, my products can help you. Yes. I said, and it's funny when I talk to people about that stuff, I'm like, I'm never going to say it's a cure, right? But I know it can help your body. Yes. it can help your body fight what is ailing you and maybe give you a better fighting chance, at least, and from the side effects
Right.
from the chemo,
Yes.
the nausea, and all of that. So hopefully she and I left her my cell number, so I'm hoping that she reaches out to me, because I'm like, you really need to get on my product. She's like, you're right. So I hate being pushy, because some people still have that such an aversion to it, and there's still that stigma with it. But I think a lot more oncologists are opening up to that, and even neurologists when it comes to the seizures. So a lot of them are slowly opening up to it, to at least, hey, we can at least try it. It ain't going to hurt you. It's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
And with her, I know she's still on like, they want her to be on one pill forever. And I'm like, man, and you can't even use these products because they want your body to be inflamed.
Yeah.
Right.
And that, I hate that pill. I hate that one.
Yeah.
Tamoxifen, I think, or something. I can't pronounce things, but that one. Yeah. So it's frustrating, because I know that our products would help her even more.
Yeah.
But again, last resort.
Yeah.
People don't think to come to us first because we don't have the MD doctor behind my name, but I feel like I'm a doctor of cannabis.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we have enough credibility that we've been doing this long enough.
But I'm going to say something controversial, and you can delete this if you want. But many physicians now, they're not trained like physicians were, 30, 40 years ago. I mean, they go into a hospital and you're in that system and you're a check. I mean, like you look at it and it's like, oh, I have to prescribe this, or I have to do, there's a procedure, there's a policy, that they have to follow certain medications, because it's about the money. Okay.
It's about the money, and
they can't go outside of that. Okay, they can't prescribe. If you go in, your blood pressure's high, there's a certain medication that healthcare system will prescribe. Okay, it doesn't matter. You could even say, my grandmother had that, and she had a full-grown male seizure, whatever, and they'll be like, oh, we have to start you on this. Let's see how. And so it's not individualized, and they can't. Most of them, now there are some, as you said, slowly coming on board and are actually seeing the truth and seeing that there are some natural products. Cannabis, you've got black seed oil.
Oh, it is. And I see a functional medicine doctor. John and I started seeing him because of my husband's, his seizures and stuff. And they had just started really kicking in again lately. And I'm like, what is going on with your body? Why are these like coming back full force? Because I kind of thought we had him pretty much at bay with his cannabis products, and all of a sudden it's the past year he's had one almost monthly, sometimes twice a month, just depending. But so we started seeing a functional medicine doctor just to see if there's other things going on that the VA does not test for. And sure enough, he's pre-diabetic, he has mold toxicity, he has heavy metal toxicity, what else, he has high serotonin levels. He has Epstein-Barr and the HIPAA, whatever. I know all this stuff, but there is like this cyclone of things that could be causing him to have all these seizures. So we've been eliminating a lot of this stuff. I asked the doctor about Alpha-Gal, and he's like, I don't think that's it. I was like, yeah, but could it? And it's crazy because he had a steak the other night. This was Saturday night. Did we call it Saturday night? Friday night. Friday night he had a steak. And do you know, I worried for the next 2 mornings if he was going to have a seizure, because I was afraid that the steak would have caused it. Is that not?
I know you don't.
But because someone had told me, well, I had seizures when I was eating steak, and then knowing that it's the Alpha-Gal. So his doctor does not think it's that. He said, we can do the testing. He goes, that was kind of low on my list for him. And I was like, well, it won't hurt to test him. You know what I mean?
But mold toxicity could be, so I was just, I've got a good friend that lives in Whitford County, and her house was recently flooded. And she's a nurse practitioner, so she called me, and I went down there to help her. And she was like, "I'm throwing away everything, Kathy." And I'd be like, "Well, this really, this can or this, get rid of it." She was like, she's a nurse practitioner, and she was like, "Do you know how many patients I've seen that have mold toxicity, and everyone responds differently?"
Yep.
And she was like, "I've had some very severe patients, and we weren't sure exactly what was going on. And some of them were even like a psychosis, and
I
once
believe
that
it.
mold was removed, their symptoms resolved."
Yep.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
crazy thing is, and I asked John, like, what did we do different
Right.
for you? Well, he
Right.
drinks a shit ton of milk.
Oh,
And before we were buying the organic
Right.
milk, and
Yes.
then it just so expensive, we stopped buying it and just went back to regular milk. And I was like, John, that's the only thing I can put my finger on because
Oh.
I don't have the mold toxicity, so it's not in our home.
Right.
Because I was afraid of that. I said, is it our home? Is our
Yeah.
home killing us? You know what I mean?
But
And the
where does he
doctor's
work
like,
at? Where does he work at?
well, he works at my 812
I
store.
know. But is he in the lab any?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
is he dealing with biomass coming in?
No.
Okay.
All of this had already been,
Okay.
extracted. So no.
Okay.
But I had wondered that too. Like when he was doing all that extraction stuff.
Right.
But that all gets tested even
Yes.
before it comes to him.
Absolutely.
So, and it was mold free.
Okay.
Which is good.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, the doctor truly thinks it's from his milk intake.
Oh.
So so we've since switched him back to organic. And we've cut, and well, he is trying really hard to cut back on it because
Okay.
he loves milk. I've never met somebody who likes milk that much. I rarely drink it. I could care less.
Yeah.
It's water for me.
Yeah.
And I'll do a little creamer in my coffee, but I'm not a big milk drinker. So the doctor really thinks it's that.
Oh, wow.
And maybe even some of the meats, but we always buy grass-fed organic meat as much as possible,
Right.
or we don't cook it. But he's on a whole series of detox type stuff and charcoal and all that stuff. And knock on wood, but
I know.
he's done good this month.
Good.
You know what I mean?
know.
And he
Right.
didn't have a seizure after eating that steak, so I don't think it's
good.
the alpha-gal either. But yeah, I mean, just trying to find out what's different, what is going on, why is he all of a sudden having these, and I also think stress. He gets himself worked up quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I'll get in his head, and he's very, very intelligent and very, he's got an engineer mind.
Yes.
So, and he's always thinking,
Right.
and he's always like, he's got probably 1,000 different windows open in his head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This going on, that's going on, this going on, this going. So I think sometimes that might have something to do with it with him too. But to know all of those different issues he was having, like we had no idea he was pre-diabetic.
Right.
No idea. And even that, the fluctuation in the sugars and stuff. So like we've changed his diet. I have he wants sweet things. Well, I make sweet things out of garbanzo beans now and dates. That's his sweet treat.
Good.
And they're good. I mean,
Yeah.
they taste great. And I'm getting used to all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you have to take control of your health.
Right. Absolutely.
And you have to find someone that can work for you.
Yeah.
Right.
And what you need them for.
Right.
And I
Yes.
think that is just so important because our healthcare system is broken.
Yes.
It's mostly about money.
Yes, it is.
And
It's all about the money.
it is. And it's so sad how a lot of people don't get the help that they need. And a lot of times it has so much to do with our diet.
I
Yes,
know.
it is.
Exactly.
That-
right.
Yeah. And that people just don't realize that.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't know I had a gluten intolerance through the roof. I had no clue. So I have been poisoning myself with gluten for all these years, not losing weight and struggling and just so upset with myself thinking that, it's me, but it was because I didn't know.
Right. Right.
So John, my husband finally made me go see him and I'm glad I did because it's made a big difference, a big difference. I am finally, and the inflammation because I was fighting that gluten. So my body was so inflamed and then, it spikes my cortisol level. So I'm not losing. And it's just amazing how all that plays together. Truly.
Because everybody's so different,
so different.
So you can't just throw something,
And like John and I don't take all the same things. Like we have a couple of things that we both take, but like he really needed to fix his gut. He had horrible leaky gut. I have a little leaky gut, but not like him.
Yeah.
And most people don't understand how bad the leaky gut stuff is.
Absolutely.
And how detrimental to your health it is. So, and that's because of all the processed crap that has been allowed to be sold in the States for the longest time, with the fake dyes and the fake food coloring and the fake sugars, fake sugars, all that stuff.
The sprays.
And the sprays. I mean, all of it. So it all plays to that whole healthy lifestyle, and including hemp in your healthy lifestyle is going to help you. So I thank you for this stuff, like night and day difference on the bug spray. We love it. And keep doing what you're doing, Kathy. Please, we need.
Please.
I will. I will.
All right.
It is. No, it's not. It's not, but I know in my heart and my soul that this was my calling. There's no question about it. And I love it. And I am grateful beyond belief. And, I can win every freaking award out there, but when a customer comes in and tells me I'm doing God's work, that is what makes it so all of it worth it to me.
Right.
And just how much it means to me to hear something like that. And that guy has no idea. You know what I mean? I just thanked him, and there I was about ready to cry, and he's walking out the door. But he has no idea how much I will carry that with me.
Yeah.
Like I made a post about it today on Facebook, I think, because it just meant something. So thank you.
Well, you're doing amazing work, and it needs to be done. And you know it, and it's
me too.
Well, and
it's a hard
if I didn't
battle.
have Beth, it would be a lot harder. So I'm grateful that she's on my team. I'm very lucky to have her and the rest of my team too. So we will keep pushing.
Takes a village, right?
Yes, it does. Especially to work with me, it really does take a village sometimes. But we will definitely get this out there, Kathy. And thank you so much for coming on and making an amazing product that anybody and everybody can use, and they don't have to worry about the stigma or anything like that, or getting high from it. You won't get high from bug spray.
National parks. It's okay.
You won't get high from the bug spray. People, don't snort it up your nose.
No, please don't.
Don't do that. This is topical use only.
Yes.
And they also have a poison oak spray
as
well.
It's amazing. It's amazing. People love it. Like I don't get poison oak a lot, but my son does. And he's like, okay, let's. And we've got people that love it. The people at Whole Foods, they love it. It's just a natural product that works very well.
We might have to get that too.
Because
my husband, every year when it's jar work time, he gets it all over him. And I'm like, don't touch me.
Yes.
I'm so allergic to poison ivy. And I know it's poison ivy that I got into, but I'm talking like I need a shot. That's how allergic I am to it.
Scary.
So we might
probably
have to,
be bringing that on too.
But thank you for being on. I appreciate you.
I appreciate
you
you
on again too.
And thank you so much for carrying our product, but most importantly, thank you so much for the amazing work that you continue to do every single day.
Thank you. You too. You too,
Kathy.
And you all, we have her bug spray in our store, and it. But if not, Kathy, what is your website so people can order directly from you too?
www.Port Royal Botanicals, P-O-R-T Royal R-O-Y-A-L Botanicals.com. But go see Dee Dee. Go see Dee Dee. She's amazing.
Well, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Kathy. Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day and continue doing the amazing work that you're doing, and God bless you both.
Thank you, Kathy. You too.
Thank
you.
Thanks everybody for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.